Hi, Jeanette.
Hi, hi everyone. This is Miss Murphy coming live from UT The Jungle with a special little helper today. This is Miss Nora. Do you want to wave to everyone?
Yeah.
Say hi. Can you
Hi.
wave? Say hi. In this video today, I'm going to be sharing with you some answers to some questions. We've gotten a lot more information from the district, so I'm going to address some of the questions from the Google form that many of you filled out. And if you haven't filled that out yet, I do still encourage families and parents to do so, so that I can get some good information. I'm also going to go over some of the activities for this week.
Hi, Doc.
Well, welcome to the Murphy Guest House out here in our backyard. I'm just going to come to you now answering some of your questions that you have, either that I got from students or parents. So the first question I have is, when do we start new learning? So next week, April 6th through the 10th, we're still going to continue with our suggested learning activities. So these are not graded or assessed. They are optional but strongly encouraged activities to focus on working on your skills. So what we've been doing. It's also a great time this week and next week to set up some new technology that we're going to be discussing in a future question, and make sure that any of your questions about technology are answered, and you let me know if you still do not have a computer or Wi-Fi to use. April 20th is when we're going to be starting new learning. So there will be required activities, assessed assignments, and we will also be looking at what will happen with year-long requirements that we started back in September. So some of these assessments will look a little different than originally planned, and some of the units that we're going to be finishing the school year with, but we are going to focus on about 5 to 6 key learning objectives that are important for you to know and have for next year. So it is vital and important that you are doing the work or attempting the work. So if you're unable to access some of these technologies, that's important for me to know so we can make different plans for you. So a common question that has come up through my email is, what about grades for third trimester? So as we start new learning, what are things going to look like in the grade book and in Skyward? So much of our new learning is going to focus on completion and just giving you feedback on your mastery of skills that we're working on. Currently, students that are sending me their work are getting some really detailed and wonderful feedback, at least I hope so. So if you are doing that, that's been awesome. I would like to see that continue as we start our new learning on April 20th. There will be some assessments, probably not as many as I would normally have had third trimester, but there will be some. So do take the next couple of weeks to let me know if you don't have a computer or reliable Wi-Fi. The district has ways that they can help you with this. If you can't access or set up accounts for the required technology, if you have any sort of special needs that I need to be aware of. An example would be you have 6 children in your house trying to share one computer. I'd love to know that so that we can make adjustments. And there will be a Google survey for students to fill out where they can express some of their thoughts, ideas, needs, and questions that they have. So you can complete that this week as well. So since all of our education has shifted to online, a really common question is, what technology will be used for advanced language arts? 6th grade is going to continue using Edmodo. We want to try to use the platform that you are most familiar with to try to simplify as much as possible. There's so much technology out there that can be used, but we want to continue to stick with what you know. So Edmodo is going to be your primary place where you go to find due dates, downloadable homework assignments, continue to work in the discussion board when it's required, to ask questions of me through the Edmodo Messenger. And so again, that will be our primary form of communication. I will continue to use Edpuzzle for our video lessons, so you're already used to that as well. We will continue to use Khan Academy. About 3/4 of you have set up your accounts for that. Many of you will be using that for math as well. We will continue to use it for some grammar lessons. So if you have not yet set up your Khan Academy account, you're going to want to do that. Some of the grammar lessons starting April 20th will go into the gradebook for completion. I'll let you know which ones those are. And it will include some of the comma lessons that some of you have already completed. So if you haven't done those yet, you're more than welcome to get ahead by completing all of those or some of those comma video lessons and quizzes. There are a couple of new technologies that we're going to be using. It's a lovely sound. We're going to be using Microsoft Teams, which you're going to be learning more about. We're going to be using this only in 6th grade 4 or in 6th grade Advanced Language Arts for video conferencing as office hours. I'm going to talk more about this in just a moment. And you'll get some information about how to access this and participate in those if you choose. Video conferencing will never be required, it will only be optional. We're also going to be using Actively Learn, which is a great website to read short stories and interact with them. And since our first unit starting on April 20th that we're going to be working on relates to short story literary analysis, Actively Learn is a very good platform for us to do that unit. That unit was originally designed as a discussion unit, which we're not going to be able to do as planned. And so we're going to be using Actively Learn for that. So you're going to want to set up that account, and there are instructions. And you have a couple of weeks to do that or ask any questions about it. And there will be a how-to video for you to watch as well. So our next question relates more specifically to video conferencing. So will we have video conferencing in Advanced Language Arts? I know some of your science classes have tried Zoom. The district would like us to stay away from Zoom because there are some legal and logistical issues with Zoom. It is very easy, but it's also easy then for some people that we may not want in our Zoom meeting to show up there. So instead we'll be using Microsoft Teams, which I'm currently getting trained on. There will be some specific rules and expectations that you'll get if you choose to join a Microsoft team meeting as office hours. And so you'll get those as well. And if you choose not to abide by those rules, I will choose to have you leave those office hour meetings. Next Thursday, the 9th of April, I'm going to have a practice session. Not for you, but for me to practice with a group of students for how to set up a meeting, invite you to a meeting, and hopefully make that as simple as possible for everyone once we have one for more people. This one's going to be limited to 10 students, so the first 10 students who send me an email that they are interested in doing that. And I'll let you know once I've reached that max of 10 students. The office hour sessions starting in on the week of April 20th. So there's a couple of weeks for everyone to download what is needed or watch the how-to videos and get the instructions for that. But starting the week of April 20th, I will have office hour sessions in Microsoft Teams. There'll be half-hour sessions Tuesdays at 10 a.m., so 10 to 10:30 a.m., and Thursdays at 2 p.m., so 2 to 2:30 p.m. So there's a morning option and an afternoon option for the week. Again, these are optional. You don't have to come to any of them. The office hour sessions will have different focuses each week. So I do know my very first one is going to deal with new technology for that week and making sure that any questions are answered about those new technologies. But you would get all that information on Sunday nights on what the focus would be, how to access the team meeting, etc. The 2 office hour sessions for the week will have the same focus. So if you're interested, you only need to come to one. Again, they're not required at all, but if you want to come, you don't need to come to both of them because we'll be addressing the same information. I just wanted a morning session and an afternoon option for you. So the next question, what will independent reading requirements look like for 3rd trimester? I know we had a grand plan at the beginning of the year with our Big 12 challenge, the I Finished a Book slips, and you guys were doing great. I have no access to the I Finished a Book slips that were in the classroom. I have not been in there since November. So it's going to look a little bit different. I actually want you to still continue with the Big 12 challenge, but starting April 20th, I'll send out what those requirements will look like. They're going to be a little more general. The rubric will be a little more simple, and it won't be worth quite as much as I would have made it initially, but just know that there will be a grade in the grade book, an assessment grade for independent reading. So you should still be reading books on your own, and there will be a form that you will need to fill out to let me know what you have read. So just know that that is coming, and there will be grades for that. So another big question that I have heard about is, what about the Young Wonders project? So initially, I was going to cancel that. I didn't really see how that was going to work, having us not be in the classroom. But I've done some thinking, and we are going to continue with our Young Wonders project. It's going to be much more simplified, and there will only be one rubric for it, focusing primarily on the design process. So did you design something that solved a problem? It's going to be a little bit more of kind of a pass-fail idea, but I do want to see these great ideas that many of you had. I know that you won't be able to have any of your events or do the presentations the way that I would have loved. I'm still thinking through how we can share our projects and share our ideas and what that will look like, but just know that there will be, we are going to include the Young Wonders project in 3rd trimester somehow, and you will find out more about this either the week of April 20th or the week after. So, using my magic wand, the next question is, what about the SAT vocabulary we were doing for 3rd trimester? Well, the vocabulary is actually fairly easy to continue with since we were already using Edpuzzle for it. So you will have 4 new sets of words starting April 20th that you will be required to watch the videos for. The templates will work the same. It will be the same process for vocabulary. Obviously, if we do not go back to school, the exam or the final exam will look a little bit different, but there is a way to put up a test through Edmodo, so it would be all multiple choice. But I can figure that out and we can make it work, but just know that we will continue vocabulary as we did for 1st and 2nd trimester. No changes there. Okay, so the last question, what can you be doing for the next couple of weeks to prepare for this new learning, required learning, possible assessments starting on April 20th? Most importantly, well, maybe not most importantly, but importantly, do the student Google Forms so that I know if you need technology you don't have, or there's special needs that I need to be aware of. If I need to create some paper packets or something like that, I do need some lead time to be able to put those together. You can set up an Actively Learn account. There will be instructions in this week's email that goes out. Make sure your Khan Academy account is created. Again, most of you have done that, which is great. If you have any problems with either of those, let me know. For the next couple of weeks, I would be watching the how-to video for Microsoft Teams. Download anything that you might need to download, or make sure that you can access Microsoft Teams. And if you want to volunteer to be part of that practice group that will meet on April 9th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, please let me know as soon as possible. It will be first come, first serve for that. So just let me know. Okay, so over the next couple of weeks, there's some things that I do want you to work on or accomplish. So this next week, April 6th through the 10th, remember you'll continue with suggested remote learning activities. These are ungraded and meant to practice skills from earlier units before our great disruption to the school year. And over the next couple of weeks, make sure to do a couple of things. Complete the student Google form that will be sent out, and you'll have the link to that this week. Please do that as soon as possible. It is important for me to know any of the needs that you might have or ideas that you might have as well. Also make sure that you set up Actively Learn, Khan Academy, and that you can access Teams. Now your account from Teams is already created. Every student, grades 3 through 12, has a Microsoft Teams account. You just need to be able to access it. And so following those directions to make sure you know where to go and what you're looking at.
Bye, friends.
So that is the end of the question and answer video for this week. I hope you have a wonderful week hanging out with your families. I know we will, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to just invite you to send me work if you want me to look at it, to ask any questions you have about technology, and we will do our very, very best to solve any of the issues that you have. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Say bye-bye.
Bye.